Hey everybody, welcome to Epic Time. As you see, I am in my hotel room, chilling out because I'm getting ready for a lot going on today. I just got to get a couple things squared away because that's how it works now with Facebook. To get it to places, you have to share it instead of tagging it. So I want to make sure this gets put out everywhere so people can see it. But anyhow, we are here. We are live. It's a little bit more toned down. I didn't have as much setup to do as far as getting a internet hooked up in the hotel room. That is nice that it is just working. So that part was nice. And now I'm getting ready to explain, this challenge. The Hoka Hey Motorcycle Challenge, as most people know, is 10,000 miles. There's stories of it being 11,000 miles this year, 10.5. I have no idea. That's kind of the beauty of the challenge is there's so many unknowns. You don't have any idea what's going on. You think you do, and then something comes up. So that it may seem confusing to people who are not familiar with this challenge, following a family or friend or coworker that is doing this for the very first time. But it's the exciting part of it. As a former rider, it's cool to see, the unknown and see it all unfold that day, which is tomorrow, which is crazy how fast time goes by. It just seems like 2 years ago, these riders were starting out in, Florida. There was a hurricane coming into Key West. It was going to hook around and then hit Florida again, kind of make a U-turn and come back and hit everybody twice. And, it just seems like that was yesterday. And now tomorrow, 250 riders will be lining up. It's over 250. I don't have the exact number, but it is over 250. I've heard 270, 275. So it grows a little bit every year. It is last in 2024, it was 236. So, they go up 30, 40, whatever the case is. And it kind of seems like that's been the way it's been going every year. So that's pretty awesome. But tomorrow, everybody's going to line up. In older Hoka Heys, they had it where you just had to be there by 5 o'clock and line up. Whenever you got there, you lined up. So if you got there at 6 o'clock, you're going to be at the end of the line, no matter if this is your first time doing this or your 10th. Whatever the case is, you'd be at the end of the line. A couple years ago, they switched it and you showed up they wanted everybody there roughly 5 o'clock in the morning. And you lined up by your numbers. We're all given a rider number. I'm rider number 897. So you're given a rider number, and the lower the numbers, the longer you've been doing this. So there's some, 2-digit numbers. The 3-digit numbers go a long ways up, but the lower they are, the sooner you got into it. So people that are, in the 2-digit numbers, they've been in it since the very first one. So that's pretty cool. And now they did it where if you show up at 5 o'clock, they line everybody up and by numbers. So they'll say 0 to 100. You guys go line up. Then they go and line up. They'll have a big staging area. And then, numbers 100 to 500 go line up. 500 to 1,000 go line up. And so on and so on and so on. Until you get to the end of the line, which is all of the new riders. So it works good. I like it way better because you can kind of sleep a little bit knowing the plan. The first time I did it in 2018, I didn't have any idea what I was doing. My mind, I'm like, perfect. I'm getting there in plenty of time. I took off and I thought, man, I'm early. I don't sleep much anyhow. I'm really on the ball. And I rolled in there at 3:30, I think, or quarter to 4. And I was 75th in line, roughly. So I was way back. We didn't have 250 riders back then. It was 100 and some, 113, I believe. I might be mistaken, but somewhere in that neighborhood. So I was way, way further back than I thought. And it's not, crazy bad to be in the back or the front. But if you have aspirations of doing very well, obviously the further you start in the front, the easier that is. and it's a little less chaos when you're up near the front and you can get out in front of a pack because I believe me, 250 riders, 100 riders, whatever that case is, that's a lot of riders going the same direction, the same time. And they have limits. You can only have a 6 gallon gas tank. So some bikes, like the Pan Ams that like Dirty Dan rides and a few other people, they have, Walter Mays rides one. I forget all who's riding them, but anyhow, they have a smaller tank. So they're going to gas a little bit sooner, but everybody has the 6 gallon tank. So it kind of like puts everybody getting gas about the same time. So it just makes it chaotic. And some people get really stressed about the chaos. And I don't know, I thought it makes it, kind of the rally or the challenging of what it is. So that's just kind of part of the game. And it really makes it kind of fun to do. And it's exciting when you get gas and there's 30 motorcycles in there trying to be the fastest guy, trying to keep that time under 3 minutes from the time you pull in to the time you pull out. So it's really exciting. And what I really like about the challenge is the trackers. They have US fleet trackers on the bikes. This year, they're a new tracker and they're not hardwired to the bike. So people remember who have watched this before and you go and look at it, there would be a button you could hit to honk their horn. They were never hooked to anybody's horn, but US fleet trackers designed to track fleets of trucks, semis, whatever that case is. So everybody be like, can I shut Riot's motorcycle off? Can I shut off somebody's bike? Can I hit the horn and do whatever? But they were never wired like that. But they are wired, or they were, the new ones I'm not even that familiar with, but the wiring told you when the motorcycle was turned on and when it was moving. So that was always kind of cool because you could see when somebody stopped. You could kind of get an idea how long they stopped. If you're watching your best friend, your wife ride, and you want to see how long she's at the gas station, you can literally see it turn from red to green, and that meant stop to moving. And you watch when you'd know they're okay. You kind of can see where people stop for the night and zoom in. And so that's what I want to go through today and just take 10, 15 minutes. So people, when they go online, they understand what they're looking at and they can take advantage of this very, very unique tracking system. Hands down, the most entertaining for spectators to watch. It gives you an exact location where they're at. These motorcycles that are behind me in the parking lot, when you look at their trackers, you will see them if they move from a parking spot to another parking spot. You'll see it move. When it resets, you'll see that bike moved literally 5 feet. And I don't know. I think that's pretty cool to see and watch. And I just had my air conditioner kick on, so I don't know if you can hear that or not, but my air conditioner's loud. Let me know, I'll turn it off. But anyhow, that part of it's really exciting. And I just want to share a couple pictures so you can kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. This is the starting line from a previous year. This is what you can expect to see tomorrow morning at 5:30, between 5 and 6, somewhere in there. This is the look you're going to get. And I mean, that's just impressive. And this is half of the riders that are going to be there tomorrow, roughly. This is 2018, Medicine Park, right along the river. But when you look at that picture, the ones that aren't overlapped, you can kind of see where they're at. I don't even remember where I was, but, somewhere in the center. Oh, there's my name right there. So about center, but there's a lot more bikes packed into the front. And, excuse me. So that's the kind of look you're going to get, when you see these things take off, and, that whole mob will start moving and you're going to be able to watch it. And pretty soon they get spread out and it looks more like this. And this is 2018 as well, but this is well into it. This is heading into the third checkpoint, which was up in Spokane, Washington. But this is how spread out this will get. Some of these that you see in the bottom, I'm pointing to it like you can see my hand pointing to it because I'm thinking everybody's in the same room as me. But down here on the bottom of the picture, some of these are red because people went home. They didn't show up. It was not as advanced as it is today. Now Beth has it dialed in. If you're not at the starting line, your tracker won't be on. Some of these people were never even at the starting line. So some of these outskirting ones that are red were not there. They were not there, or they had already went home. Some of these bikes had broke down, whatever the case was, but they didn't get shut off like they do today. Now people will disappear from the tracker as they tap out, go home, do whatever the case is. It spreads out. But, when you keep going, it just keeps getting more spread out and easier to see until the point you can see out in front who's leading, who's in these packs of people, where they're at in the field. And it's really, really entertaining to watch. And I'm going to give you a little way to do that. If you bear with me 1 second, here we go. I'll get this on the screen. If you go to our website, milemonstersinc.com, we have it set up for you. That's Gavin right there. That was on one of our rides out in South Dakota where I told him the buffalo was coming after him. But if you scroll up to the website here, this is a list of the riders riding for Mile Monsters. So as you see, we have a lot of them. There's 58 on this list, I believe. And now if you want to track one of these riders, any of your riders, the number 2. I mean, obviously you're going to know your husband, your wife, your best friend, your coworker's number. So you just click on the tracker. Here is what the tracker will look like. Oh, it opened up a new box. I got to share the new box. Sorry about that. I thought it would loop right over, but of course it doesn't. So let me remove that and share the proper screen, and I'll be good to go. Oops, somehow that kicked me out of there. That's not it. Here we go. Share screen. So when you click on that, you're going to get this page right here. And now you're going to see this is zoomed out view. And this is kind of what I was talking about, where these people are supposedly coming. But if a Jay Harding down here does not come, you won't see him. It'll just disappear. But right now there's 268 trackers in the general vicinity. And you see how that's just a circle with 268. As you zoom in, you will see where they are. And see that how people are already split up. There's people staying up here, but this is kind of what it's going to look like when you're watching it. And you see how these people are on the move? These bikes over here, everything in red is stopped. They're not moving. So these bikes are not moving. They're still 106, 110 right here. But you can just keep zooming in, and it's much easier because there's never going to be 106 together. But here is rider 1325 and 1162 riding together. They're heading from the hotel up to the dealership. Here's Dirty Dan. So if this was live tomorrow, you're going to see them riding down the highway just like this. You'd be able to know Dirty Dan is on 14 heading north, heading wherever. You'll see a line of bikes. Whoever's out in front, you'll kind of get the idea then of where they're going by watching the tracker. But you can see all of the riders. The more you zoom in, the more detailed it's going to be. So there's still 116 people at the hotel that I'm at. But you see how these Teal Glider and another one here are riding down the road. This is the view you're going to get watching these. I mean, how cool is that? Like, you're showing them go down the road as fast as it resets. So you can literally watch people come through your neighborhood, your town. Everything you want to see about this ride, you can watch it unfold live right in front of you. There's no delay. You're not looking at something that happened yesterday. You're looking at something that happened right now. And let's say you want to see a certain rider. Man, there's 268 riders. I can't keep track of all that. I don't know anything what's going on. You go right up in here to the upper left here where it says search the US fleet tracker. All right, let's say I want to know where Iceman is right now. Iceman is rider number 1220. Right there, Iceman. Let's click on that, and there he is. If you want to follow him, you can click follow right here. Otherwise, if you just want to check it out for yourself where he is right then, there he is. You want to zoom out. Let's say you live in this town. You'd know he's coming right through. And right now, you notice he is not near the pack. So if you're watching this live on the Hoka Hey, you're knowing he's having a bad day. The whole pack is up in the upper left. He's down in the bottom right. I happen to know Iceman is out getting a tire put on. So that's why he's at a different dealership. And there's Gopher right over here. But it gives you a good feel for what's happening. You want to find somebody else. Let's look where Frosty is. Frosty is rider 1220. Oh, that's Iceman. Sorry. Frosty is rider 1311. 1311. You got to learn how to type too. If you just type in random things with fat fingers, then you're not going to find anybody. And that's what I do a lot. So here we go. Frosty happens to be right where there is a lot of people. So if you want to follow her, you hit follow. Pretty easy. But look at this zoo of everybody that's still at the hotel when it zooms it in like that. And you can even see where they're parked. And these trackers are small, so somebody could literally take the tracker and have it in their pocket and walk into the hotel. But you can see where everybody is parked in the parking lot. This is the parking lot of the hotel. So let's just look at rider number 1285, right in the dead center, Dash. So if rider 1285 Dash moves his motorcycle, you're gonna know it. If he walked out there right now and started that motorcycle, it would turn green and you would see it moving. So that is an awesome, awesome feature to this. I think it's just super cool. And to be able to follow the riders is an incredible way for somebody who's not doing this to stay involved with it. And I think that is the selling point of it. You can see what they're doing. And just to give you an idea of the kind of distance they're covering, this is one of the Hoka Heys we did. This is 10,000 miles roughly. This would have been 2022, I believe. So this is kind of the mileage they're covering. This one was in the western half of the United States, and that's 10,000 miles. And people have a hard time understanding what 10,000 miles is. They just think it's a number. But when you're riding from New York to LA, you ride New York to LA, you would have to go back to New York, back to LA, and then go to Denver to cover that 10,000 miles. If you did that on an interstate, that is an impressive ride to do 10,000 miles like that. But you have to remember that this is the kind of riding these people are going to do. Let me start that over. These are the roads that this is taking place on. This is not the interstate. This is not fast highways. You're doing 100 miles an hour down. This is a good chunk of it. It's not all of it. There's county roads you're on, and there's straightaways out in the desert, the plains, all those places that don't have a lot of twisty roads. But they're heading to the Northeast because of checkpoints in Rhode Island. That's pretty basic to figure out. They're heading to Mississippi. That's pretty basic to figure out. There's a lot of roads like this in the Northeast. This is a road that was actually a Hoka Hey road that I rode on. And you will go from that to this in just a couple days doing this. So when you watch the tracker, zoom in and see where they're at. Look that up on a map. Try to follow along. It gives you some other views when you follow these people. And then you will understand like what kind of roads they're on and how impressive it is that when you went to bed at 10 o'clock at night, they're here. And then you got up in the morning and they're way over here. There's a lot of riders who ride at night. That's not my jam, never has been. But there's a lot of people who ride at night. An awesome champion, Billy. he rode at night a lot. It was cooler at night. He liked it. Like I say, it's not my jam. I guess I'm an old farm boy who like to get up early and go to bed kind of early. So I go to bed and then I naturally get up. The first crack of sunlight, I'm gone. But that's the kind of the feel you get, and understanding that this is a challenge both for you physically, mentally, and your bike. You'll understand it if you follow these riders and understand their challenges and understand they're riding these crazy roads that are so hard to navigate, and they're doing that all day long for 14 days. That's the hard part. And when you do this and you follow these trackers, you'll understand what they're going through. You'll understand the wear it puts on you mentally to ride like that, the wear it puts on your bikes, your body, everything. And understand that this challenge is just that, an incredible challenge that just across that finish line at any point is an amazing accomplishment. You know, to do that is super awesome. The people that are going to come in and you're elite riders, in there in 12 days, that's awesome. The badass riders, whatever it is. But this is like any other competition, any other sport you do. There's some people that just have amazing talents, amazing God-given talents that make them here. And then they're out there perfecting those talents, practicing riding. You got to look at Marky Mark's bike. You know that he's going to take his God-given talent and raise it to here, raise it to up to this level. And then you have people that spend every open minute they have in life and they're going to be to this level, and coming in behind those people, there's no shame in that game. There's nothing wrong with coming in, 20th place when you do this map. You're doing a ride like this, 10,000 miles, the things you have to go through, the weather, the roads, the construction, the not being able to sleep. You might be tired at a time of night that a thunderstorm is blazing through, lightning, booming stuff that just is amazingly loud, hard to sleep when you're outside during that crazy stuff. Now you're all tired. So there's so many obstacles along the way. If you took every rider out of this and you were the sole person to do this ride, you signed up to do the Hoka Hey Motorcycle Challenge and there was one of you, and you took off tomorrow to do this 10,000 mile ride, if you got back in 14 days, you'd be damn happy with yourself. And that's what I try to get through to people is give it your all. But at the end of the ride, and you gave it 100%, wherever you fall in the finishing order is just fine. It's okay. I mean, there's some crazy, crazy good riders out there. I mean, we have a list of riders that, if I look at just the list of riders that are riding for the monsters, they're incredible riders. And you're not even touching on, English, who is a beast of a rider. Hyde, who is a beast of a rider, who rode a hardtail the last time. Now he's on his cushy, nice little street glide. I don't even know what he's going to do when he gets the opportunity to ride with a suspension, not getting beat up the whole way. I mean, I can't wait to watch those things. We have people their first time, second, third, fourth, whatever the case is, that have really got their things dialed in. Iceman has that bike dialed in, knows every last thing he's going to do the whole day. These people have practiced for 2 years, some of them longer. It's going to be a pleasure to watch, a pleasure to see what they do, and understanding these trackers makes it so much more enjoyable. It's going to be, like being on crack, man. You're just going to be hooked to the, to the game. You got to watch it all the time and tune in, get back to the tracker, and you'll be looking at this all the time. So I'm probably not doing you any favors by explaining how this works and how you can watch them and see, here's Jim Harold right there, 116, another fun one to watch. He's ridden every single Hoka Hey. And one of the Hokays, he had to tap out when he was coming kind of close to his house, and he tapped out and went home. And people are like, man, why would you go home when you have one section to go? This dude had been battling cancer and was going through the chemo and the radiation and all of the nonsense, and basically had to, you know, talk his doctor into to let him go. And he went and started the Hoka Hey and made it. I don't remember how many miles, but he was between the last checkpoint and the finish line when he had to tap out because he was going to end up in the hospital. But that's the kind of beast riders there are in this. And in my opinion, like Jim's story, that's an elite rider. And that's somebody who didn't finish. I don't care about if he finished last. You're battling the effects of suffering cancer, and you're still out there doing what is kicking these young guys' ass, and you're still doing it. Like that to me is amazing. So, you know, that's the fun thing it's going to watch. But as you watch it, understand that you don't know their story. Somebody that's way in the back, somebody's like, man, you only see him moving 500 miles a day, and you'll see other people moving 1,100 miles a day. When you see that, you never know their story, you know. So just keep that in mind, that everybody has a story, everybody has a journey, and what that is, you have no idea. You know, you have no idea if somebody is battling something on the road. They might have tipped their bike over and broken their collarbone. I mean, these people are savages. You know, they might have hit a coyote and wrecked their bike, their body. It might have hit a deer. Bike might be falling apart, whatever the case is, but they keep going. And right now we're watching rider 323. That's somebody who's been around a long time, Martin, and they're rolling up the highway. So if you want to watch Martin, you can click on him and hit that follow button. And now when you open this up, it's going to go to him. So you can click on who you want to follow. I think it's awesome just to be a fan of it all, so to speak. If you have a list of people, like I say, we have 60 people. If you want to get a list of that and type in just to see who they are, what they're doing, you know, that's the kind of thing that just is fun. So that's really what I wanted to cover. I don't need to keep rambling. I just want to make sure everybody understands the Hoka Hey, kind of what it's about, how they, you know, do what they do, and what you're looking at tomorrow. Like tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Central Time, you start watching this, tune in. I'm going to have a live feed going from the starting line. You can watch it on all of our stuff, our Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is, or you can have this tracker link and go directly to that and just watch the tracker. I'm going to kind of be giving a little feed to what's going on and where we're at, and I'll have this hooked up as well. And it's kind of figuring it out as we go. But we're going to have Chase there getting a bunch of pictures, and it's really going to be awesome. I can't wait to kick this off. You know, our goal is charity. Our goal is promote the charity. What we do is we ride for heroes. We have 7 kids that we refer to as heroes. If anybody wants to know our story a little better, you're new to this, check out milemonstersinc.com. But that's what we do. That's what I'm focusing on, these 60 riders, because they all chose to ride for Mile Monsters Inc. to help our heroes live their best life. At the end of the day, that's what's important to me. Where somebody finishes this challenge is pretty down on the list, including when I rode in it. You know, my goal was to get to the finish line, and I wanted to raise awareness for this disease these kids fight every day. So that's the goal. I appreciate anybody and everybody who shares what we got going on, who understands our mission. So sharing this to whomever you share it with is awesome. Just click the share button so your friends see it. People don't have to be bikers to understand cool. They don't have to be bikers to understand epic. So somebody that just wants to see something really cool happening in this country, it's really fun to watch. And once they get a kind of a grasp on what's happening, how far these riders have went, what they're riding for, and what they're going through, is awesome. I mean, it's addicting. I have all kinds of friends who watch this that have no connection to a motorcycle at all, other than might be friends of mine, and that's it. But they're hooked on it because you're not watching a motorcycle race on TV. You're watching a blip on a screen traveling hundreds of miles in a short amount of time. And it's just mind boggling to see that happen. So I think that's really, really cool. And I'm going to share the screen one more time because I just happened to glance over and somebody's rolling up the highway. This is what I would have on my screen if I was in my office at home. And you can kind of just glance over and see when somebody's coming through. They're going to be coming through a town near you. If they do, walk out there and hold a sign. Make up a little fun sign, hey, Hoka Hey riders, hey, monster riders of the Hoka Hey, welcome, whatever. Give them a water, put a cooler out there, whatever. That's the cool stuff that riders is rip into. Say hi, get a selfie. Every time I saw somebody on the road, I stopped and took a picture with them. If I knew them, they were there for me. They were there for some rider. If I saw a sign that said anything Hoka Hey, go, 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 whatever it said, go right, go, Hoka Hey riders, welcome. Anytime I saw anything like that, I stopped, got a quick selfie, and took off. And it was always fun. I met a lot of good people on the side of the road that were there for some rider coming behind me or they'd been in front of me. They're there. My mom went out and watched riders. She missed me because by the time I figured I was going to be going by her house, she didn't get there in time. And she missed me, but she was on the side of the road cheering on a bunch of other riders. And you'll see that going on just randomly. And when somebody comes out to cheer, it's because they're watching it. So you will be famous. These riders are famous for 14 days. And it's really fun to be a part of that. So, and when I say be a part of it, on the computer, liking it, sharing it, being on the road, cheering them on, donating, sharing the story, whatever it is, being at the end of the road party, being here today, tomorrow, whatever it is, you're all part of their journey, and it's awesome. So with that, I am out of here. We'll be back on tonight. We're going to have a few riders on talking about their last minute preps, kind of what's going through their mind and the last little things they're doing to get ready and kind of how they feel about it. New riders, the anxiety of that, the excitement of it, is building. It's building. It's ramping up. And riders who have done it, they have some expectations. Maybe they want to win this thing. Maybe they want to be top 10, top 20, top 30, just finish. Whatever their expectations are, they're getting excited about it and it's getting amped up. And, by 7:00 tonight, they're going to have the butterflies in the stomach. They're going to be all ready to go. So I'm really looking forward to it. So that's that. I appreciate everybody's support. Remember, sharing is caring. And with that, I'm out of here. You guys have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you in 7 hours. Peace.